Hi, I'm Brittney Ashley, your host of Breaking Norms, Building Dreams, your guide through this transformative journey in both business and life. This is your place crafted for dreamers, doers, or anyone who has been told they can't. Get ready as we challenge those narratives together. You're tuning in live to the United Public Radio Network, airing on 105.3 and 107.7 FM in New Orleans. We are streaming on all the popular platforms every Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join me for a candid and thought-provoking conversation celebrating your unique journey because you are worth it. Hello, everyone. Happy Monday. I can't believe we're already on Monday again. It's bananas of December. But just so everyone knows, this is probably going to be the last episode for myself until 2026. But we'll have some really good reunion replays and all the stuff in between, but I'm super excited to have Heather here today to end the show of 2025.
I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited. My brain's already in 2026. I'm not gonna lie.
I know. It's a weird in between right now.
Yes. Again, welcome everyone. It's Monday and welcome to Breaking Norms, Building Dreams. I'm your host, Brittney Ashley, and we are broadcasting live on United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network on 105.3 and 107.7 in New Orleans. Get ready to escape the next hour with Heather. I'm so excited.
Me too. This is awesome.
You're going to have to because I took some of your bios, so I'm going to do a quick introduction to who you are, but then I'll just let you to kind of take lead of who Heather is. So Heather is the heart behind Sweetly Raw, a classically trained chef and lifelong dessert lover. She believes indulging and wellness and can both coexist. Her plant-based creations are made with whole food ingredients, so you can feel good about enjoying them every day. I'm so excited to learn more about you because I've seen you cook, and I have your cookbooks, which we'll dig into as well today. We have a full hour.
Yay!
Yeah, maybe you can start off with how you started, who Heather is, and how you started your journey.
Right. Well, my journey began many, many years ago when I was 14 years old, so barely a teenager, and I became a vegan at that time after reading the book Fit for Life, which was very, very popular, I think, in the 70s.
Oh, wow.
And that's when people started, changing the way they were eating and eating more naturally and healthy. So anyways, I read this book at 14. I don't even know why I read it, but it resonated with me. And I became vegan overnight. And so I started cooking for myself and making desserts because I have a voracious sweet tooth. And so I started experimenting with, healthy dessert recipes. Mm-hmm. And that's when my passion really started. And so I was always I would rather, be at home making, cooking and making desserts and reading cookbooks and watching cooking shows instead of being with my friends. It was one of those things where I was just so into it. Yeah. And so at the age of 19, I went to culinary school to become a chef. Now, I was so interested in nutrition that I was thinking about going to holistic nutrition school. Okay. But in the end, this is many, many years ago, and things weren't as available as they are today. So, there's nutrition schools everywhere now. Back then, coming from a small town in northern Canada, it wasn't that wasn't available. Yeah. So I went away to culinary school and, gained all the skills, gained work experience. I worked in different areas of the industry, but my main passion lies in desserts, always has, and healthy ones. So I can maintain the waistline and eat dessert every day.
Love that. Because a lot of us have guilt when we do eat anything sweet.
That's right. And we got to break that down. We got to really get rid of that whole belief. I worked in the industry and I went on to start a blog, and it was all all vegan and mostly raw recipes, mostly desserts.
Mhm.
And so I started doing ebooks. I was one of the OGs of the
I was
blogging
gonna
world
say,
back then. This was so,
you're
so
the
long ago.
original.
Yeah, yes. And I don't have the blog anymore, but I did maintain it for 15 years. And
Oh, wow.
during that time, I released lots of, like, about 10 different recipe ebooks,
Mhm.
and all kinds of things. I taught dessert classes around the world. And then I authored my Sweetly Raw Desserts cookbook
Mhm.
about 10 or 12 years ago.
That
And I started my Sweetly Raw dessert business back in my little hometown, many, many moons ago. And so it's gone through different, iterations
mhm.
since then, because I've moved, I've shifted, I've changed. Um, so that's in a nutshell.
Well, I love this story because you don't find very many like entrepreneurs that were like usually it's like after the life. Like for me, like I started my entrepreneurship because it just fell into my lap more or less. Because I just really thought it was like the 9 to 5 jobs right after high school and all these things just kind of because we're kind of like molded into that a little bit in
Hmm.
society. And so to even think about wanting to even start any kind of businesses to me probably didn't really start until now. But like long time ago, thinking about all these different initiatives of what I've started, like dog walking instead of babysitting, because I just realized like I did the venture and I was like, I don't want to be a babysitter. I don't like I can't with kids. Now I'm a mom of two, but but then I was like, oh, like maybe dog sitting. And I found like a loophole. So many more people will pay a lot more for their dogs than the kids.
Oh, wow.
So I
That's
started
too
like
funny.
right? So I started my own little like doggy business. So technically I guess you could say I was an entrepreneur a long time ago without really even thinking about it. But
Hmm.
I guess I just didn't have like the notion of what that could be and how that could transpire to where, like and all the things could change. So no, I love your story.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm really fortunate that I discovered my passion at such a young age and that I've been
Mhm.
able to live it out all this time.
Yes, yeah. And then how did you realize that you wanted to curate a book? So you started a blog, like how just go through that fashion a little bit.
Right. Well, I was actually contacted by an American publishing company,
Oh, wow.
who found me through my blog back in those days. And I got this deal to write a cookbook, which was an absolute dream come true.
That's
And and for anyone who's
yeah,
watching, here is the cookbook, Sweetly Raw Desserts. It might
yeah,
appear backwards to you, but
yeah.
you get the idea.
I have one. It's great. Can't recommend it enough.
Thank you
Um,
so much. Yeah, so everything in this cookbook is all raw, so nothing is baked. It's vegan, it's gluten-free, dairy-free, grain-free, naturally sweetened, soy-free. So it really hits the mark for anyone with any type of allergies, except for nut allergies, because we do use nuts to replace flours and things like that.
yes. Yeah, actually, when I got the book, I showed it to my mom. My mom was like, "Oh, this is interesting." You're
Yeah.
probably listening, mom, right now.
It's just a whole new way of doing things. And they're
Yes,
delicious too. I mean, it's not just healthy. Like, forget that. I'm not into just let's eat healthy
yes.
granola hippie food. Like, no way. It has to taste good and be rich and decadent and delicious. Like, that's what I'm all about. But then healthy at the same time.
Yes, I love that. I think too, unfortunately, like there's different recipes out there that a lot of people are like, "Oh, do this or do that," and then they're like, "Oh, nothing can ever be replaced to be like what you've created," for example. Like they just think that if you're going to remove all of these products, it can't be good.
Right.
So I love that you are like, "No, it can be good." Like
Yeah, no, it really can be. And the thing is, like, I'm glad that I have the chef background, like
mhm.
in classical chef training, because I was able to use those skills to
Yeah.
create my recipes and formulate them in a way that is still, the texture is there, the flavor is there, the richness is there. You know, little things like adding salt to your desserts, you know, can make a huge difference because that makes the flavors pop. I always say, like, it enhances the flavors, and just little things like that.
When you took chef school, like, do they make you, like, can you hone in on one area? Because, like, there's some chefs that are more doing like dinner or lunches, you know, like not just specifically in the baking.
That's right. So, yes, you can go and specialize, but at first there's like the basic. Mine was based on the classical French culinary
Okay.
system. And then from that, you can outshoot to like just pastry or you know, different things.
Amazing. I don't know
Hmm.
if I told you, but I got kicked out of the kitchen
What? No, you didn't tell me that.
because I have my background in tourism hospitality management. And one of
Uh-huh.
the things is this is why I did love the course, because it makes you become a housekeeper for a week. It makes you be in the restaurant side. And I was a cook, chef. I got kicked out because I was stressing the chef out because I would cut like this. He's like, was always like hovering around me. He's like, Brittney, we've been through this. Like, he was a very well-known French chef, actually came from France to come teach our course. And he's like, it's like, I promise I'm trying. And he's like, no, you are stressing me out too much. You're going to the front of the line, front of the house for client care or customer care. He's like, don't worry, you'll still pass the course.
That is too funny. Oh my goodness.
I just always look at that and was like, at least I tried. At least I can say I tried.
Yes, you tried. Hey, that's a good story. What about at home?
Oh no, Mark is like, you're out. Like, he actually cooks way more than I do. Like, I would say, like, I used to enjoy it. Like, I used to love when I was in home, like, home ec, and I did like a lot more baking. I would say I did a lot of baking. And
Hmm.
then when my husband and I started dating, I did make the guys, because he used to live in a house of all the guys, and I would make them lasagna. Like, he doesn't even remember this. I was like, I did so well, but it's good that you don't remember that I know how to cook. But
How can he not remember your famous lasagna? Come
I
on.
didn't know, because I felt bad because I was always there because I didn't like the place that I was living at.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, I remember I was doing like all of these things, and then when we started living together, he just took on more of that role, because
Mm.
I just didn't really give me joy, I guess. And so he loves to cook. Like, he just made fresh, he's like Martha Stewart over here. I'm not even
Oh, I'll
so
be right over for
yeah,
whatever is fresh there that you said.
he just did like a full like sourdough. Um, he just did a like all prep all of yesterday, like broth, 2 sourdough breads, and then banana bread and something else.
Oh,
So,
amazing.
oh, and kombucha.
Oh, nice. I used to make my own kombucha too. It's so different than it is in the stores.
Yes, it is. Our neighbor does kombucha, and so she just texted me like a whole list to try. I'm like, I didn't even realize that there's so many ideas, because we were just doing grapefruit.
Okay.
But yeah, no, long story short, I got kicked out of the back then. It wasn't my intention. I think maybe my brain doesn't want to compute, just want to get it done fast. My ADHD is just like, go on to the next.
Too funny.
But yeah, no, that's so interesting. I love your journey, and I love how, like, everything that because I've seen you do a speaking event not too long ago. So that's how you and I met. So I was super excited to have you come onto the show today.
Thank you. Yeah, it was great to connect with you at that event. And I'm
Mhm.
so glad that we're here right now together.
Yeah. Well, maybe any life kind of, as you're building your business as young as age 14, if anyone's out there listening, I don't know if we have necessarily like young listeners, but anyone kind of like wanting to venture in the business realm, do you have any kind of like tidbits for anybody?
Well, the first thing I would say is it needs to start with your passion. The
Mhm.
deepest passion, that is the only thing that will give you longevity.
Yes.
And if it's for any other reason, it's going to be a tough haul. It's going to be a long haul. You might not last. So it's got to start with that passion, that burning passion, because there are ups and there are downs and there are all arounds. And that is like the backbone to keep you going. And so I think that's the most important place to start. And then the other thing is there's going to be rejection. There's going to be failure. I'm just keeping it real here.
Yeah.
This is really important because I think things can get so fluffed up these days with, the age we're in right now and these, overnight influencer, millionaire, billionaires, and this, type of world that we're exposed to now. The reality is to build a successful business that lasts, you're just going to have to be able to ride those waves. And it's not a bad thing. Like the rejections, I always think it's, one step closer to the yes, or sales will be up and sales will be down and sales will be this and sales will be that. And you go with it.
Yes. And I think like changing your mindset on that, like my business came out of passion, and it still is my passion to help moms work from home. And so like, that's always, sometimes it's like the ups and downs. And sometimes I'm just like ready to like, just like, this is ridiculous. What am I doing kind of situation. But then I hear from like one of the moms of like something really great happened with one of our clients. And I'm like, okay, I'm back up on it. Like that, this is why I'm doing it kind of thing. So I think like the whole passion piece is really important, because I've worked with a lot of businesses that, for example, maybe decide to be a coach, and then I would create like their whole business for them, like their website, their things. I'm like, okay, to get out there, you need to be the face, you need to do da da da. And they're just kind of like, no. And they're just like, well, what do you mean? Like you can't, it just, even though if you build a website, it doesn't just happen. Like the business just come to you.
That's right. No, you've got to put in that all the footwork and the grind. I mean, I hate, a lot of people are against that word right now, like putting in the grind and the hustle, but I think it's sort of a balance, of letting things flow, but then also, putting in the work too.
Yes. Yeah. Both of them. And it's like a roller coaster, I guess, the best way to kind of say it for entrepreneurship. But I was just talking to a group of marketers that we meet every month. We kind of like talk about like what we learned, or we do like kind of like a round circle, and I love it. Group of women marketers across, mostly in Vancouver. I'm the only Victoria. Only lone soldier. But I love it because we all come together and share our wins and work together, and we're all passionate about what we do in different forms and boost each other up. So I think also finding like a group that you can really build like that community about, that really understand to the entrepreneurship, because some friends that are in like the corporate lifestyle won't really understand what you're going through.
Oh, that's so true. Absolutely. I agree with that. Some of my closest friends are also entrepreneurs, and it's just great to be able to talk openly about the ups and the downs and keep it real, right? With those friends who get it. And just, being able to adapt. The adaptability, I think, is important when things are kind of spiraling out of control, as for me right now.
Maybe you can share with everybody if you're open to it. This is what entrepreneurship's all about.
Yes. Yeah. Here's a prime example. Okay. So right now my business is sleeping. She's taking a nap. And this is how I joke about it now, but literally my business is closed down, and it was closed very abruptly about exactly 4 weeks ago. The owner of the kitchen that I rent from, the commercial kitchen, got cancer, this very aggressive form of cancer, and he's older, and so he just decided to sell the kitchen. They sold the facility like basically overnight, him and his partner. And they sold it to another business owner who doesn't want tenants. And so we were kicked out. Myself and 3 other businesses were kicked out very, very abruptly. not sure it's really legal, but I don't even know given the circumstances.
Yeah.
And it's not a battle I want to fight either. You know, you do need to pick and choose those battles.
Yeah.
Because I do see the light in it and the opportunity in it. But it's not very convenient that my company is closed down in the busiest, most lucrative time of the year.
Yes.
I'm on holiday.
Yes.
So I looked and looked for a temporary commercial kitchen, and it's not to be found. But I do have a new kitchen that I'm moving into in January. And it'll not just be a production kitchen, but because I mostly do wholesale to restaurants, hotels, cafes and shops and things like that.
Mhm.
Direct to consumer as well, but it's mostly wholesale. But this one will also have a storefront to it.
Oh,
So, it's kind of like a step up. So there's a silver lining. And, I could be fighting and screaming this whole time, like, oh my God, I'm not making any income. It's Christmas time. I could have a big squawk about this.
yes.
But, I'm just really choosing to trust God in all this. I've been in similar situations so many times in my life. And it always happens for a reason. It's always a good thing in the end, looking back. And so, you know what? I'm just enjoying. I am letting myself go to bed later, wake up later, eat what I want, just like I'm on holiday. It's pretty awesome.
Well, like when you and I just chatted, and by the way, Terry, aka my mom, just put regroup, renewal, redirect. Which is sometimes like when we're in that, sometimes if you feel like you're in a chaos moment or like you can't get a break in life, like sometimes we just need to stop, regroup for a minute. Like you can definitely acknowledge your feelings and be upset. And it's like, how are you going to take it from here? So I just love when you and I chatted, like, I just loved your energy and how you're just like, I'm going to focus over here now. Like, it is what it is. Something else is coming down the pipeline. And then look, now you have a store front. Are you going to like kind of have it prepped, or what's your envision there? Are you still kind of mapping things out?
Yeah, so my friend who owns a granola company will be using the commercial kitchen together, and then she's going to turn the front area into like a little bistro, and little like storefront bistro area. And so my desserts will be available there as well. So it's great because people can come in and it'll be a nice environment.
That's so exciting.
Yes.
Like I said, I always say this, that everything happens for a reason. I know a lot of people don't like that saying, but I do think like sometimes like I wouldn't be where I am today for all the things that has happened and like how things have been rerouted. And I just got guided to a different location. And I'm just so happy where I am right now.
I completely agree with you. And I'm not sure how people could really disagree with that, because if you look back at your life, we can see it from looking back, we can see why things happened. And it's hard when you're going through something tough. It's always so hard to see, like, why am I being so challenged right now? But then you see, oh my gosh, I had to go through X, Y, and Z to get to where I am right now. And I'm actually glad that happened.
Yeah. No, I'm so excited for you. You're going to have to keep me updated.
Thank you. Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. But the other thing that, the other gift and golden nugget here in this experience that I'm going through right now is, and I do believe that sometimes when things happen very quickly and things are taken away from us, whether maybe you lost a job, you lost a relationship, you lost something, and everything happens really fast, I feel like God or the universe or whatever you believe in, the higher power, is at work for our highest good. And I think it's a pause point. I call it a pause point. So it's where things are basically put on pause, become very still. And this is where we're forced to look inward and maybe pivot, redirect, really get in touch with our inner self to see if there's something that we need to look at. And for me, I have discovered this during this time. And I can't say exactly what it is, but I've come in touch with a childhood dream. of
Mhm.
mine, that I need to actually pursue moving forward. And it doesn't take away from my dessert business. I realize that my dessert business, Sweetly Raw, is going to um, be the gas
Yes.
for to support me in this endeavor, this
Mhm.
other dream. And so I'm excited because it is a complete pivot, and but I had to get really quiet in order to discover
Mhm.
this.
I feel like because our world today, we're going like 100 miles a minute, and we don't even have time sometimes to think about things or say, sometimes we just say yes to things when we really mean to say no because we're just
Hmm.
constantly in the spiral sometimes. And just like on social media, like going back to how building a business doesn't happen overnight. And there's so many things on social media that's telling us that that does happen.
Hmm.
Well, they're saying, I'm going to promise you 5K months, 6K months, or whichever. And like, it does not happen that way. Like Rome was not built in a day. I always like to say.
That's right.
And so having those moments of reflection and just having, like, I'm super excited for Christmas break. I think I don't know if I told you, but I already put like my out of office on.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it.
I'm like, nope, I think I'm done. Like, I can feel it. Brittney needs a
Uh-huh.
little break. And I was just talking to one of my clients. I'm like, I'm still here for you, but I'm just like, I think my brain just needs to like have that reset. And I think it's really important for us to see and understand those moments, because if we just keep pushing and keep pushing,
Hmm.
like nothing's going to be flowing back to us in the positive way.
I completely agree with you. Yes. Yes. How can we really tune in and hear that like inner voice, that still voice when our brain is on going 5 million miles an hour, and then our outer world is also so chaotic and busy, and there's so many demands of life and everything. We can't hear, we can't tune in. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, for anyone out there, who has a similar experience, of like having things taken away and being forced to look inward, I
Mhm.
promise you there's good things on the other side.
Yes. And it's really like, I went and got my tarot cards. Actually, she was like a magical reader. She does tarot card reading, tea leaf reading. I'm pretty sure she was a medium. Like,
Cool.
she was like all of the things. And she was only supposed to stick with us for like 15 minutes, but she stuck with us, like, well, me anyways, for 30 minutes. And like I was getting like, she's like, keep doing what you're doing in your business. Like listen to those moments when you're like, no, like listen to those moments, and you're going to see a lot of one-on-ones. Like I've talked about like previous
Mm.
shows. One-on-ones is like everywhere for me right now. It's quite bananas. And I just feel like when I had that like reading or whatever, I'm like, I just feel like it's like I feel like finally in alignment, and I just
Uh-huh.
going in the direction. But sometimes I'm really good at like intuitive, like listening and all of these things. But sometimes if I'm just like so caught up in all the things, I forget about those voices of what direction I should really go into. So I've been like taking the extra step to taking a step back, taking a breather. So that's why I'm super excited just to have like 2.5 weeks off, because I'm like, I think I need it. And then reevaluate how I want to show up in January 2026 too.
I love that. That's just
Mhm.
such a perfect way to reset yourself for the new year.
Yes.
Just fully rest, because I think nobody knows how to rest these days, right?
No.
We're just so like disconnected from it.
We're
But just going back to listening to
Mhm.
ourselves and honoring ourselves, I have a cool story to share about
Yeah.
that. Um, so I had a point in my life years ago where I was in a relationship and I wasn't really happy. We had moved to another city, for his job. And so
Mhm.
I just felt like a fish out of water. And, I really, really wanted to make this happen. And like, I was sort of trying to force it and hold on. But I finally came to the conclusion that, you know what, this is not honoring me and
Mhm.
how I feel. And so I need to leave. And so um, I I packed up all my belongings and I sold them or put them in storage. I sold my car. I had nothing but a backpack on my back and a plane ticket to Bali. And so there I was on my way to Bali. I stopped to visit my mom on the way there. And a few days before my flight, I had this overwhelming feeling. And I should preface by saying, when I visited her for a week,
Mm-hmm.
it was a small place in the mountains. So, what was I? Everything taken away. I was in a quiet place,
Mm-hmm.
time to hear my inner voice without realizing this at the time.
Yeah.
Now I know. Now I know. Um, but in hindsight, yes, quiet spot. And I was like, wait, I can't go. And I didn't know why, but I just thought I had this overwhelming feeling I can't go to Bali. So I was like, well, what the heck now?
Yeah.
What do? I literally just kind of like walked away from my life. Well, a day later, but I decided, yeah, I'm not going. Canceled the ticket. A day later, I got a call from that American publishing company
That's crazy.
asking if I would author a raw vegan dessert cookbook.
Mm-hmm.
And I was ecstatic. It was a
I love
dream
that.
come true. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it. And so I rented a cabin in the woods on the lake. They gave me 6 months to come up with 100 new recipes that weren't already on my blog.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, completely do that and work with a photographer and work with the editors and pump this thing out. And so, yeah, this was the
Love it.
result of me honoring myself. And I truly believe with my entire heart and soul that this book would not have come to fruition had I stayed in that relationship
Mm-hmm.
and not honored myself. And this cookbook brought me amazing opportunities to be on TV and in magazines and all kinds of things. So, that's just a testament, I think, of listening to ourselves.
Mm-hmm. And I think, well, thank you for sharing your story. And
Thanks.
I think too, sometimes we, especially like when you're in another relationship and you're not like maybe considered an equal. I was actually just having this conversation with one of our guests, actually. But she talked a lot more. We were talking about it from a lens of like trauma. Um, and so, but I did love her perspective on it because at the end of the day, each relationship should be like you're negotiating together for your life to be compatible both on all level fields. It's not just a my way or the highway, like get lost kind of thing, but stick with me for my own ride kind of situation. It should be like, for example, my husband like absolutely supports my business and is always helpful. Like I couldn't even imagine being with like thinking about past relationships. Like, oh my goodness, I probably wouldn't be like even having this business still kind of thing.
Mm,
I wasn't in a very supportive relationship, right? So,
yes.
and then vice versa, even for him, for his dreams and what he wants to do. So, around the time too, actually, like when I had my first kiddo, he wanted to move out of the job, and it was supposed to be very secure. Like it's a very secure job that he had before. He had this opportunity, but it's supposed to be on call. And I was like, if you're not happy here, what? Let's just risk it because why not? And so
Mm-hmm.
moved, and now he's been at this job for 7 years, and now we have like a pension and all these things, and he loves it. So it's like if we didn't like come in together and supporting each other in different ways, I don't like it. Just yeah, so you want a
I
partner
love
that
that.
supports you.
Yeah, it's so true.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And if you're with someone, I just have to say it, if you're with someone who does not support your goals and dreams, like, maybe it's time to reevaluate
Yes, absolutely.
because like you are so worth it. You are so
Yeah,
worthy of living your dreams, your passions. And the thing is, not everybody's going to get it.
no.
They're just not.
Did you, what's his name? I don't have it here. His name is Simon, I believe. Yes, it's Simon, but I just don't remember his last name. He's based in the UK and he goes on, he has like his TikTok account and he goes and talks to people like, what's your dream in life? And everyone
Cool.
like on the spot, like on the streets. What's your dream? I have to remember his last name, but I love it because it pushes people on the street of like, oh, well, like, yeah, I have a dream, but you know what? Right now, I'm like just going to focus on this. And he's like, no, what if I give you 10 grand right now to go start what you want to start? What would it be? And so there's been people like chefs, actually. There's been like health plan, like a range of people, and he's given them some money to get started. And a lot of them start the business and then they've had like grow their TikTok or grow like all these things. And I just love that he's doing
Wow.
because I think we are all worthy to follow our dreams. And sometimes we forget what they are because we're told in the lens of like social media and all these things of what we should be doing. We
Mhm.
forget what direction we should be going our own selves.
That's right. Wow, I just love that. What an opportunity for so many people to get in touch with their dreams. I actually
Mhm.
asked the cab driver, I don't ride in cabs very often, but we went to a Christmas party last night. And so took a cab home. And I actually asked the cab driver what his dream was.
What do you think?
And, you know, because we got chatting and he's from India. And I wanted to know like what his dream was. And he shared it with me. And I said, well, I think that's fantastic. You know, you should
I love
pursue
that.
that.
Aw, I love
You
that.
never know who you can get thinking, like get them thinking about it, right?
No,
Like, yeah, maybe I should pursue that.
yeah, and I find like sometimes if you I don't feel like that's a question that's asked very much, you know? Like it's such
That's
an
right.
easy question, but it's not really asked.
And people have a hard time answering it because we grow up with other people's agendas around us.
Mhm.
The family wants you to become the doctor like they are, or the this or that, and you've got
Mhm.
to go to business school and you have to, you know, to do X, Y, and Z. And so we don't even allow ourselves to dream or think about what we
Mhm.
really love to do. And
Yep.
that's why so many people go through an entire career and then they have a quote unquote midlife crisis. And they finally are like, wait, what am I doing?
What am I doing here? Well, it's funny because like my dad always wanted me to be a nurse, like in the
Uh-huh.
hospital. I'm like, I even told, I was like, I can't even go in the hospital. So you want me to be a nurse? Somebody who can't even walk into the hospital. Like one of my good friends was in the hospital and I would be like I wanted to go see him in the hospital, but I made my other friend come with me so she would touch all the doors. She would
Oh,
all
I think that's not a fit for you.
no, she's like an emotional support person at the hospital without her knowing it. And so I just kind of like, she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I do not want to be here."
I couldn't do it either. Like I can't do blood. I can't watch medical
No.
shows. If you tell me something really queasy, my stomach will literally do a flip. Like, yeah.
Yeah. My husband has he's not anymore, but used to get really bad nosebleeds. And the one night he woke me up, I was like, I got it. I fainted. I fell out of the door, fainted, and I
Oh,
called the neighbor for
oh my goodness.
honestly, I'm like, I can't remember what they say, but they're like, way to make it about you, Brittany. I was like, I really was trying to help, but that just shows you right now that's like why I'm like I can watch it on TV. I'm fine with it on TV, but I guess in real life, my brain's like, nope, can't do it. No, this is why I never became a nurse. Um,
Oh man.
I just had like a lot of anxiety for hospitals in essence of all of things. Even when I had the kids, I was like, oh, at least I know it's like in the ward here. Don't make eye contact with anyone. Just go right upstairs. Like I just like don't like the hospital.
No, I'm not a fan either.
No. Do you have any tips for anybody that might be struggling like with the mindset piece? Because I find like for me, I'm always working on my mindset.
Mm.
Sometimes you can get stuck sometimes in the negative, but how to switch it out. So for me, like I'll just talk brief example for discovery calls. I don't even like calling them discovery calls. I call them coffee chats because in essence, it's not about how they're going to choose to pick me. It's how if we all both choose to work together. So it's like that mind switch. It's not a discovery call. It's let's get to know each other if we're the right fit. And either I'm saying no or you're saying no.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Well, sorry, I was so like ingrained with you saying that. What was the question?
Yeah, no worries. Do you have any tips on like if people are
Oh,
kind of
yes.
with mindset?
Yes, mindset. Okay, first of all, I think we are our own worst enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And myself included. And so what I do is I talk to myself and I give myself little pep talks. And sometimes when I go to start spiraling down the rabbit hole, I either look at myself in the mirror or I just say out loud, like, no, like enough is enough.
Yeah.
Girl, you are this. I am this. I am, always say I am.
Oh, I like
Declare
that.
I am.
Yeah.
I am a badass bitch. I am a badass business bitch. Sorry, am
Yeah.
I allowed to even say that?
Got
But seriously, you can pump yourself up, and declare the truth about you instead of saying, oh, I don't have the skills for this. Oh, I'm not good at talking to people. I'm not good at this. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
I am magnificent. I am creative. Start declaring all those amazing things about yourself and
Mm-hmm.
notice how that changes your mindset almost like immediately.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't, keep going. No, girl, I am this, I am that, I am
Yeah.
resourceful, I am wise, I have, all these things going for me.
Mm-hmm.
And pump yourself up,
Yeah.
and discard anything that tells you that you are not enough. Like if any
Mm-hmm.
person or anything on social media makes you feel like you're not, well, unfollow them first of all,
Yeah.
and just keep declaring like how magnificent you are and how worthy you are
Mm-hmm.
of your dream. And I think everything starts in the soul. I
Yeah.
always say success starts in your soul.
Love
And so the business and the outward reflection, it's
that.
just that. It's the reflection of you, your internal life.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got to start with us,
Yeah.
first and
I love
foremost.
I love that. And I find like it's taken me a lot of work, self-development, a lot of transition. And like I loved taking my coaching courses because it was like coaching myself too.
Mm.
And I remember I worked at the tourism center and it always stuck out to me because that manager at the time, I just don't think she maybe liked me that much. But she's like, "You're just always so negative." I'm like, "Am I? Am I negative?" Like, I thought I was a
Oh.
pretty positive person, but it just, like,
Mm.
in that looking back at it now, I was like, "You know what? I was actually in a really not a good relationship." So maybe, like, a lot of that stuff externalized without me really realizing it, but it's interesting to know, like what you were just saying there, like, it's you need to be aware of things like that and also how you show up. And I don't know, I'm super happier now. Back then, I was just going through a lot, and I didn't realize, like, that stuff was, like, eating away at me. So, it always
Mm.
stuck out of my head because I'm always the kind of person that wants to better myself and learn from things, and
Mhm.
what else can I do to do X, Y, and Z? But for the mindset too, like, if you're not practicing and reprogramming your brain, because that's what we're doing here for anyone listening, it's reprogramming our brain. Because if you're always going to think in the negative, you're going to just constantly be in that negative spiral. But how can we switch it into the positive?
Yes,
It's like with their whole situation. Like, why? Okay, it was crummy that happened, but how can we switch it to a positive?
that's right. Yeah, and your current circumstance does not define you
Mhm.
either.
Yeah.
So just because maybe you're going through a rough patch or something, that is not, number one, it's not forever.
Mhm.
And what I think is really helpful is tuning into what do I know to be true about me, and what do I know about like that dream and that vision that God put in my heart. Like that, hold on to that dream, that vision, tap into it, keep it at the forefront, and let that kind of carry you through any hard times or any times, your mind starts going downhill.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's good to have those anchors.
It's really, I've learned too throughout the years, is having like such a supportive network too, because if you're
Mm,
in a negative state, and like you can go, not to say that you can't have negative thoughts. It's more like how do you surround yourself though with positive people to bring you back up when you feel like you've kind of flat faced a little bit. It's good to have your different kinds of emotions, but like making sure you have the supportive network. But then also too, if you always hang out with somebody who's super, like I worked in a very toxic work environment, and I just
mhm,
remember looking back on it and I was like, well, that wasn't Brittney. Like looking back on
mm.
it, like that was not me, but I was so engulfed in it that I didn't even, and working somewhere there for 5 years, right? You kind of forget who in essence you kind of are. So making sure that you change your process, your mind, and making sure that you're in like a positive space. One of my clients actually made a comment once, and it has always stood out to me of like, um, don't watch garbage TV because it's negative. I,
Yes.
I, because they made a comment about that, and I'm like, oh, I watched the Kardashians. Pleasure. Oh, is he telling me not to watch the Kardashians right now? Subconsciously. But I loved his perspective on it though, because we in society are so engulfed with negative things too. We need to start learning
Mhm.
how to make sure that the things that we're watching could maybe be a little bit more positive and educational too, to bring us up. So
Yeah, I agree. And one thing that also really helps me is to do things I love every single day.
yeah. Mhm.
And so for me, that means, which actually kind of translates to self-care, ironically, my list of things. So yoga for me, I
Yeah.
love yoga. That keeps me feeling balanced in my mind and in my body. Going
Mhm.
for a walk at the beach as often as possible, that really helps to keep me like balanced.
Mhm.
Eating things I love, that sounds like, and could it be that simple? Yes, it really
Yeah.
can be that simple. For me, I do my chocolate o'clock every day.
Oh, I
I have,
love
you know,
that.
which I often share in my Instagram stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll have my chocolate, and yeah, people can connect with me on my Instagram, Sweetly Raw.
It's very
You'll see a lot of, yeah, you'll see desserts and yoga and my life and um,
just
yeah, so, eating those things you love, watching a movie that you love, just those things
yeah.
that you find enjoyment with, I think is important.
Yes. And sometimes we take life so seriously and life is short.
Hmm.
So it's like, how do we appreciate those little things? So, like, Christmas is coming up, a lot of stress, a lot of angry people out there right now. Like,
Hmm.
and sometimes I'm like, I think they just need a hug. Like,
Yeah.
need a hug and take
Yeah.
a breather. And I think sometimes because the world is a little rough around its edges nowadays, a little bit more so than ever. So it's just how can we be kind to everybody?
That's right. You never know what someone's going through, and it's good to have that compassion. Like even driving down the road, sometimes it's really easy to get annoyed at other drivers.
Mhm.
And sometimes I have some choice words for them, but then I start thinking to myself, you know what? What just happened to that person? I wonder, right? They could have just gotten bad news. Somebody could be rushing to the hospital. Actually, they could have a pregnant woman in the back of their car. Like, you just never know.
Well, there was a TikTok, not TikTok, on Instagram of like looking down at a cars. I don't know if you've seen it, and it's like different, like what different people were going through in life. So one was like just broke up with their ex. The other one just got diagnosed with cancer. The other one, like it was just a carload of people driving, and some people were kind of like honking and stuff like that. And it just makes you kind of like reflect a little bit. It's like the landscape.
Totally.
We're all going through
Totally.
something.
Yeah, have some humanity because we would want the same for ourselves, right? We would
Mhm.
want somebody to be understanding with our situation. I
Yeah.
know it's easier said than done sometimes. I totally get that.
Mhm.
I'm guilty of that myself.
Yes.
But overall, just like coming back to it and coming back to it.
Mhm. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're almost at time. I told you it was going to go by really fast.
Yes, this is
Do
flying by.
you want to tell everyone how they can find you? And I also see, I don't know if you saw this comment.
Oh, no, I
Buying
didn't.
your book.
Oh, awesome.
So
Fantastic.
I'm just gonna put your Instagram up here, but maybe you can let everyone know where they can reach you and where to buy your.
Yeah. Well, that my Instagram, I mean, the desserts, I think a lot of your audience might be south of the border, right?
We have a good range from because I also show the show here locally. So
Oh, okay. Okay, for any locals, sweetlyraw.com is my website. Unfortunately, I can't send desserts to the US, but here I can, just not right now, because as I mentioned, the company is shut down temporarily. There's a notice on the homepage, just as we transition into the new space. But the new space will be in Oak Bay.
oh
So that's very exciting. A new part of town for
yeah,
me.
it's so
Um,
pretty there.
yeah, it's going to be really great.
Yeah,
So,
and then your Instagram it keeps popping
yeah,
up.
Instagram is Sweetly Raw.
Sweetly raw.
Yoga, life, food, desserts, lots of desserts. You'll see some cool, funky mega chocolate bars that I like making. Um,
Follow you. Please go follow Heather. I'll just read it out for anyone who's not too sure how to spell it. It is Sweetly, so SWEETLY, and then Raw, RAW on Instagram.
And so that no one is shocked if you do go and see me eating
Yeah.
a steak or some real ice cream. I am not a vegan anymore. That's what started my whole journey all those years ago. But somewhere along the lines, I actually got very sick. And
No.
so, very physically, my body was breaking down.
Mhm.
Mentally, emotionally, I was so depressed. I was suicidal.
Mm.
It was not a good situation.
Yeah.
And so, animal products actually healed me, brought me back to life again. And so, I keep a balance. I eat all foods, but when it comes to the sweets, my motto is have your cake and eat it too.
Love it.
And because desserts are associated with the guilt and like too indulgent and all
Mm.
these things, but my desserts are so healthy because they're made with whole natural ingredients, naturally sweetened, and so you can feel good about eating them every day, treating yourself. And I say that they're usually healthier than people's breakfast, um, but they're still
They
tasty
are.
and indulgent.
I've
And so
seen
you
the
can
book.
have your cake and eat it too every single day and maintain the waistline because I'll be honest, I like to feel light and energetic and fit and just
Yeah.
still have dessert every day.
Well, I've seen your book. So, and then the kids already have pointed out which ones that we have to make.
Oh, cool. I love that.
We did. Yes. And then my mom said she's going to get your cookbook too.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people can always like DM me on Instagram if you have questions or anything.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Oh, thanks for having me, Brittany.
We'll have to bring you back and you can update us on like how the new store is, storefront, all the things and what's new in the new year.
That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So thank you everyone for listening to Breaking Norms, Spilling Dreams. A big thank you to United Public Radio Network and UFO Paranormal Radio Network and to all our listeners. And another big thank you for Heather. As mentioned, we're just going to have some replays now until the new year, but I'll be back in January with a fresh new episodes. But with that, everyone, I hope you have a great holiday. Remember, your journey is unique and your worth is unquestionable.
I love that.